this one vision pops into my head of what I assumed to be a dream at the time, but later, as I don't know, family members and stuff, retold me when I asked about what happened with the accident. It seemed to be more coincidental than just a dream, because there would be no way I would dream the truth.
Yes.
Or would have a concept of what that truth was before I was dreaming it. But anyway, so my memory goes as this. Don't remember when I go to sleep or this or that, or even waking up from this dream, but what I assumed to be a dream at the time. I find myself floating above a terrible wreck of an accident. And I don't know why I'm floating above the accident. All I can do is see from a bird's eye view, which I assume would probably be about 30 to 50 feet up in the air from the size of the cars and the people down there. And just, I'm looking and I'm like, this is horrible. Why am I dreaming this? Or what is happening? Because I see mangled wreckage. And I see a body laying on the pavement. And then I see ambulances. And then I see paramedics rushing to save 4 people. 3 people in cars, 2 in one car, 1 in another, and 1 body kind of hanging out a window, like then onto the pavement with the paramedics. I see that body being brought up and put on, a gurney, like hospital, ambulance bed. Turns over and I try to what is this? And through all the blood and bones sticking out, I unmistakably recognize that it is my own face and my own body. Not oh, that kind of looks like me, but no, here deep inside me, that is me. And I freak out, because anybody would. I'm like, why am I dreaming this? This is terrible. This is not a good thing, because it's just foreign, so people tend to be scared of stuff they're not familiar with. And at that point, myself floating above, I start looking around, what is this? And off in one way, in short distance, I see a dark maroon, kind of reddish, aura, orb type thing. Not really an orb, because that says it's something small, but something large. And off in another way, I see just kind of a yellowish white, goldish kind of aura. Closer to the darker one, I just try to meander towards that, because I feel like I could see more in it. The closer I get to that, the whole situation that I was just experiencing felt definitely removed from all the essence of what it meant as far as life. All the life, everything that life is known, emotion, the visual cues, the emotional cues, everything was removed. It felt fake and hellish, for a lack of a better word. It was not a good feeling to be removed from humanity. So I'm like, this is not where I want to be. So I kind of floating above the scene of the accident, and I'm just looking, and it's hard to just see yourself in people freaking out and people trying to get saved, and just a mangled, horrible scene. So I go towards the other thing, start to float my way over there, and the closer I get to there, I start experiencing this whole scene from the vantage point of everyone and everything at once. I feel everybody's feelings, from the pain that the people who are still surviving feel, from the feeling of the paramedics just like being there, and it freaks me out, honestly. Like, one of the paramedics was just like, I had the feeling like he'd never really seen this kind of bad thing before. Maybe he was new to like being a paramedic, and he just was like, okay, these people are dead, like, you know, like, let's just get this over with. I need to go home because it's a shock for me. It's a shock for my system. Not that I don't care about these people, but, you know, I've already written it off in my mind that these people are dead because there's no way they could be alive. And they pick up my body, and one of them, the guy who's just wants to be done with it, is like, he's dead. We need a bag, meaning a body bag. And the other paramedic, fireman actually, I believe he was just felt along the lines of this. I'm not sure exactly what he said, but the feeling I got was like, come on, give him a chance. He's not done yet. So they hoist my body up on the gurney. And there were other people working at trying to get the other people out of the wreckage, because I was the first one being like hung out of the wreckage. And he's like, come on. He was just like, you know, feeling in his heart like, man, if we could just save one or a few of these people in this accident, it would make this whole horrible scene and horrible night worth it. And he just didn't want to give up on me. So they pull me up, throw me on the gurney, and at that point I'm just like, am I dead? I don't know what I am. And I try to distance myself away from that kind of white, goldish, yellow like aura, because it scares me, because it's like the feelings that everybody has are just too intense for me, because it reconfirmed the fact that, you know, I was dead and may continue to stay dead, and, you know, it was not something I wanted to raid around to find out or confirm. So I start to go back away from the whole situation. At that point I realize I'm neither there nor am I in either one of those auras. And I feel this presence around me. And I feel like removed from like that whole scene at all. And I speak out. Is this God or heaven or something? I hear in my head, it's not a voice per se, it's just like a thought that you know. Almost kind of like telepathy, but I wouldn't say like specifically telepathy like as in a movie. That would be almost like somebody is speaking, but they're just speaking in your mind. It's just like a feeling, like when you know. Yeah. Almost like, you know, when you see the color red, you know it's the color red. It's nothing is telling you it's the color red, you just know. And I'd say, is this God, or is this heaven? Are you God? Is this what I'm feeling? Some may call me that, is the feeling I get. And I said, or I think, or I know, am I dead? Why am I here? It's not your time to go if you don't want. It's really not. This is part of what needs to happen. But you have choice. Everyone that exists in every soul has free will, and that's the beauty of why and how we exist. So I get terribly confused, because from what I just saw, I'm clearly dead. One of the paramedics thinks I am. The fireman thinks, you know, why not give it a shot, but he's in his heart maybe thinking that I am actual goner, and maybe just wants to give it a chance so he can go home at night and say, you know what, at least I tried. So at that point, I'm very confused, and it's like I feel like I'm not getting any answers directly, because I'm looking out. And at that point in my life, I hadn't yet realized that we always tend to look outward somewhere for answers, here, there, anywhere, everywhere, but the one place where you always find the answer, and that's within inside your own soul. And, you know, that was something I learned later on as maybe a result of all this, but I didn't yet know it at the time. So I kind of make my way back to that scene of that accident, and I'm stuck in between these kind of like two auras, and I'm just floating in here, and I don't know what's up. And I was just like, I just wish I could be done with this dream and wake up, and there's a few people I just want to call or tell them in person I love them, and that's all. And at that point, I look down and I see myself being revived. From that point, I regain what I would think would be consciousness on Earth, and as the result of the shock of them restarting my heart caused me to bite down on the tube that I was intubated with, the tube that was down my throat and in my lungs, which had caused me to chip the front 4 of my teeth. And then I remember pieces of teeth being like in my mouth, and then, the next thing I know is nothing, and, my mom being, "Hey, it's Mom, if you can hear me, give me a thumbs up." And then it took me about a week to figure out how to make the connection in my brain when I was in the coma to give her a thumbs up. But as a result of that, I know, well, I guess I don't really know, but I know in my heart what I felt. And I feel like those two auras on either side of me, the one that seemed dark and kind of gloomy, maybe it wouldn't appear that way to everybody, but it at least appeared that way to my soul or my conscious or my higher self, was removed from, I guess, the third dimension that is life. That was like experiencing everything perhaps in the second dimension, where everything that it meant to be like a 3D human and creature and soul on this earth was taken away from you. And is that hell? I don't know. It certainly felt like it to me. But is it like a place of eternal burning? I don't know. I didn't really go there, but from what I experienced as I got closer, it's not a place you do want to be unless you are trying to shut off your feelings. And maybe if you live a terrible life and you have a lot of feelings, that when you die you feel like, oh shit, I was an asshole. Like, how am I going to deal with all this shit that I've done on to others? Maybe that's the place you run to like try and not feel anything. To whereas the place on the other side, that was like kind of a yellowish, like white goldy kind of light, I was feeling everything all at once. And I mean, is that heaven? I don't know, maybe some people would call it that. But if you are everywhere and experiencing everything at once, that is like classical biblical God, right? So, maybe that is God, who knows? But either way, I'm thinking it's a dimension higher than the third. And I feel like, when you experience everything at once, all together, it's like you better make sure you've done well in life, because, everything that you've experienced in life or caused other people to experience, you're going to feel. So you better hope you've done good and done unto others and done unto yourself, respected yourself and others. So when you go towards that dimension, the feelings that you're feeling when you were in the third dimension or in that physicality were ones of positive and, hard work and trying and virtuous. Because if you go into that and experience that, my only guess is it would remind you of any time you felt bad feelings is like you've done this shit to other people or you've done this shit to yourself. So therefore, if you were good, you'd be like, at least I tried to put out these kind of vibrations in that world. So I was neither here nor there, but I was, I guess, remaining, or chose to be re-put back into my body, or maybe my body was saved and I was allowed to be. Who knows how the fundamentals of that work. But, I woke up from a coma and, really confused. And it's like, it was months till I figured this story out that I'm saying right now. But, I honestly believe that, you are a soul that has a body here. You're not necessarily a body that has a soul. Your soul is timeless. Your body is just an expression of that in the third dimension on this particular planet. And I feel like though your soul is in this kind of like container or animated form or life form that is the human body, part of your soul remains wherever home is. And you experience that as your higher self. Though in this third kind of dimension, in this human form, you're not aware of the part of your soul that is not in there. But that is in order so you learn the lessons that you need to live. Or you learn the lessons that you need to learn while you live this life. And what those lessons are probably different for everybody, because I believe you probably choose to come here to learn a certain thing, but you're not aware of what you need to learn, and you need to learn it like, almost serendipitously or by folly, because that's how you really learn, when you figure it out and know it inside yourself. Because people know, they know when they do stuff that feels right, and they know when they do stuff that feels wrong. And I mean, you could be like, what is your lesson? Why am I here? Whatever. But you know when you get closer to that, because you have that feeling like you are learning or you are doing the right thing. So it's just like, the old saying, follow your heart, And it's really, it's not even so much following your physical heart that's pumping blood, but I think what they mean by that is follow your soul. Listen to your higher self, even though your higher self may not be talking to you directly and saying, oh, this is where you need to go, or you need to know your life plan while you do it. It's like, the path unfolds as you walk it. And, as a soul that is like created by the source of everything in this multiverse, you have free will, and that's a very important choice, because no one's forcing you to learn a lesson. No one's forcing that at all. It's you have to learn your own lessons by exerting your own free will. It's not a consequential action. It's something that, you probably made a pact or a deal with yourself before you came to this planet. And you either decide to, own up and learn the lesson, or ignore the lesson, or even worse, just nihilistic through your life and just treat this experience with disrespect. But the thing is we're all interconnected, so sometimes other people and yourself are part of the lesson for other people. Like you experience, say an alcoholic family member, or, a death in the family, or a death of a friend, or like, having a child with, severe autism or something. Sometimes that soul has come here to help you with your lesson. And that's beautiful, because we all want to live on this planet together, and we're all as one and all connected from source in a special way. And the tricky thing is about this planet is, the powers that be have us all looking at each other for the differences, when really we should be looking at each other for the similarities. And that's it.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Thank you.
Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense.
It does. It all did, man. It's incredible.
Sorry, I just kind of took the microphone and ran
I
with
wanted
it.
you to do that. It was amazing. And I'm still recording too, but it's just like, I don't even know what to say. Like, there's so much wisdom that you gain from that experience.
It's a very strange thing, because, it's, human language is just, exactly that, human language. It's not,
do you feel like the emotions are the only real universal language?
Sorry?
Do you feel like emotions are like the only real universal language? Like, you kept saying that you felt them more.
I think emotions are the response to the universal language. I think energy output in the form of, I don't know, whatever it may be, vibrations or whatever it may be. But energy output is the real language. Emotions is just how you respond to that energy itself. Emotions is the receiving of those energies.
It's incredible.
Like happiness would be like a response to a positive energy, to where like, you know, fear or disgust or guilt would be the response to a negative energy.
Sure.
I mean, I just feel like, you know, a lot of people who perhaps incarnate on this planet Earth are just like, you know, not prepared for the shitstorm that is life here.
Sure.
You know, because there are so many good things here, but, you know, the way, you know, evil, quote-unquote, people or souls would have us think is that you have to watch out or carry some sort of guilt with us, like, you know, the concept of original sin. It's like, oh, I'm a bad person by nature. No, that's bullshit. You're a good person by nature. That's a fucking trick. Or like, you know, the acquisition of money. I mean, how fucking fucked up is money? Like, honestly, it's the only thing that you can endlessly have more of, and it doesn't have any consequential action, except for just the hoarding of it. It's like, what you have, you know, what, like $1,000, $100 trillion. What's the difference between, like, you know, zeros on a number in a ledger or a computer screen? Nothing. It's like, what if you want, like, what, like 10 Ferraris, or what, like a trillion Ferraris or whatever? What are you gonna do with a trillion Ferraris? Then you're gonna have a trillion set of keys. What are you gonna have, a trillion garages? There's not physical enough space to have that shit. You know, what are you gonna have, a trillion freaking apples? No, it's like, you can have $1 trillion. It's the only thing that makes any fucking sense to have a trillion of. What are you gonna have, like a trillion what? Like, what can you have a trillion of that, like, makes any sense? Nothing. And money makes no fucking sense, because it's ridiculous. It's just like the most, like, asinine fucking thing. Like, it's like, and especially money too. It's like, like, people are just like, oh, well, you need it to survive. Like, oh, you need it this. It's like, no, there's so much abundance in the world. It's like, scarcity is a trick, you know. The earth provides everything.
Well, do you think,
like, you know,
I mean, do you think it's us being bound by our third dimensional perspective that disallows us?
I think it's a trick. I think money was brought here, like, or invented by somebody who's just, like, has very, very dark intentions. Because here's the thing, is, like, money is just perpetuating the fear of scarcity. And it's like, there is no scarcity. Like, think about it, like, you know, so there's what, like 6 billion people on the earth? Even if if everybody on earth only worked fucking 10 hours a week in a positive way, and not to have jobs that are just sucking off of other people or not doing anything, that's 60 billion hours of work a week combined for the human planet. You don't think we can get enough fucking food and all that shit done?
Well, let me ask you this, and this, I know this is more of an opinion that I'm asking.
Yeah, well, a lot of all of this is an opinion.
Well,
my opinion is not.
And I know that, but the point is, you know, your experience of the out of body, talking to God, those kinds of things.
I say, yeah, God, source, consciousness.
Well, sure,
whatever it may be.
But again, those themselves, I mean, you recognize them as being an experience, whether it be you seeing it as a dream or not. You experienced that.
Definitely, and that's the valuable part. But my experience is not everybody else's. I mean,
and I get,
you know, I can't say, like, I'm right, somebody else is wrong, because, you know, it's all perspective. That's what the world, you know, in the 3D sense boils down to. It's all perspective. I mean, but hell, if my perspective can help somebody else, like, more power to, like, that perspective. And in just the same as somebody else's perspective can, like, influence me in a positive way, like, hell yeah for that. You know?
No, absolutely. It's incredible. It's just, like, Jared, this is our first recording ever, which is only for me. It is. It's only for you and me.
All right.
And I'm going to put this on your computer, too, so you can...
Well, you know, it's like, if it can help anybody, you know, my permission goes along. But, like, you know, abuse is one of those negative features that I wish not to be, like, involved in.
Sure.
But, like, you know, if things can be, like, you know, used as, like, a a tool or an empowerment or something,
Sure.
or something positive, I have like no problem with that. It's just,
That's,
you know, to turn it into like a fucking, you know, commodity or
Right.
like a freaking, like, I don't know, freak show or something like that is like kind of a ridiculous thing. I mean,
Right.
people will do what they want, and you know, it's just, you know, I don't know. You can't stop idiots. I mean, but
Right.
why would you even just like, you know, put the time into doing that? I mean, you know, people can do what they want to do, and you know, that's free will and that's their own choice.
But I tell you what, with this, we're gonna sign off.
Yeah, definitely.
I love you, Jared. Thank you for saying all this.
I love you too, man.
Thank you for doing all this, man. It's beautiful.
I love everybody. Everybody's my brother. Even people that are hard to love.
We're
you know
at
what?
we're at the
They probably
7-Eleven,
need the
so I'm gonna
most.
get some more smokes.
Oh, we're at the 7-Eleven?
Yeah, I was gonna get some
Oh,
more
okay.
smokes. I'm gonna end the recording, but